Everybody, welcome back to another fun and exciting pre-algebra class. Today we'll be continuing chapter number 7 with lesson 2. 7.2 is found on page 289. Page 289 in your book talks about graphing on the Cartesian plane. In the last lesson, we talked about just kind of an introduction to the Cartesian plane, what it was, what were some vocabulary words, what are coordinate points, positive, negative, the quadrants, all those different things. Now, in this lesson, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing a little bit more on actually putting things onto the Cartesian plane, putting numbers, putting even equations, drawing lines onto the Cartesian plane. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Go ahead and look down in your book on 289, and you're going to see a vocabulary word that I want to talk about. It is linear equations. What is a linear equation? It's a little bit hard to see because of the background there, but just kind of power through that. We'll be using this for the Cartesian plane in just a second. But it says linear equations are equations that can be graphed on the Cartesian plane, and this is a key, in a straight line. Pretty much every equation can be graphed on the Cartesian plane. Sometimes it's not a straight line, sometimes it's a curved line, sometimes it's what we call a parabola, sometimes it's what we call a wave. So you'll get all kinds of different shapes or types of lines when we're graphing equations, but this type, this kind, linear equations, is what's called a line. Linear is another word for line equations, and specifically straight line equations. So when we graph one of these linear equations, we're going to end up with a straight line. Notice it says any values that make the equation true are on the line, and any equations that are not true, are false, they are not on the line. Okay, so maybe that's like, oh, what's he saying right now? All right, let's take a look at this. Let's kind of zoom in and take a little bit of a closer look at this one right here. Okay, so we have an equation. Our equation is y equals 2x minus 1. Now, the question is, are these 2 points right here, okay? So the first point is 2, 3. And 2, 3's right here. So how did we get to that? Remember from last lesson, this is origin right here. So we go over 2, 1, 2, because remember this is the x. Which one's the x? It's this one, and this one's the y. So the up and down is the y. So in here we have x and y in our ordered pair right there in our coordinate points. All right, so now the 2 is 2 over 1, 2. And then we have a 3 up. So 3 up, 1, 2, 3. So there's our point right there. There's our 2, 3 point. Now, just from the graph, because I already graphed the line, I already showed you the line, is it on the line? Yes. The pink point right there is on the white line. Now, look at the next one, 3, 1. Okay, and again, we go over 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 1. So there's our point at 3, 1. Is 3, 1 on the line? No, it's not on the line, okay? So this one, check, on the line. This one, not on the line. All right, so you can see that's pretty obvious from the graph. Now, let me show you that mathematically. This equation right here, this y equals 2x minus 1, is that line, okay? So this white line right here is that equation. Okay, now you might say, well, how do you do that? We're going to learn that in later lessons. I just kind of put it on there for now just so you could see it, because I want to show you these 2 points. I want to show you how do we know if they're on the line or if they are not on the line. Okay, so let's say that we didn't have the line there. Okay, so I'm going to take the line away. Now, here's the question. Is 2, 3 on the line? We already know the answer is yes, right? We're going to pretend like we don't know the answer is yes. Is 3, 1 on the line? We don't know. Okay, we actually do, but we don't know. Okay, we're going to pretend like we don't know. So how are we going to do this? Here's what you do. Remember that this is the x and this is the y, right? So the first one is the x and the second one is the y. So let's take the 2 and plug it in for the x, and let's take the 3 and plug it in for the y. So 3 equals 2 times 2 minus 1. Solve it. 3 equals, what's 2 times 2? 4 minus 1, 3 equals 3. Does 3 equal 3? Yes, it does. Is this 2 comma 3 on the line? Yes, it is. Why is it on the line? Because it verifies, it checks when we plug it into the equation. So now what we want to do is we want to do the same thing, but we want to do it with the purple line. So let's go back to the purple, the purple point. So let's go back to the purple point here and let's see if it is going to be on the line. Now remember, we're pretending like we don't know. So what we want to do is plug the 3 in for the x and we want to plug the 1 in for the y. So we're going to get 1 equals 2 times 3 minus 1. Solve it out. 1 equals, that would be 6 minus 1. 1 equals 5. 1 does not equal 5. So this is not on the line. The pink one, yes, on the line. The purple one, no, not on the line. So let's go back to this, what I had just said a second ago. Any value that makes the equation true, those are on the line. Anything that makes the equation false is not on the line. So the purple one made the equation false. 1 does not equal 5. So, not on the line. 2 equal, I think we got 3 equals 3. So 2, 3 checked. So 2, 3 is on the line. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. The next thing that we want to do right here is we want to kind of just draw our own line based on these points. They gave us 2 points right here. And this is in your book. This is on page 290. Page 290. So they're just going to give us 2 random points, and they want us to draw a line using those 2 points. So all we need to do is take these 2 points and then put them onto the graph. Okay? So let's start with 3, 4. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. That's our x. And then we're going to go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so there's our point. We'll put our purple point right there. And let's erase this stuff. All right. Now, we can't draw a line right now, can we? We can't draw a line, because if we try to draw a line, we could draw it any way that we wanted to, as long as it went through that point. So we don't know what way to draw that line. We need this point. In order to draw a line, you need 2 points. You can't draw a line with 1 point. It's not going to work. So here's our second one. Let's go ahead and you do this one in pink, and we'll do negative 5, 1. Remember, negative goes to the left, positive goes to the right. So we're going to go negative 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going up 1. So our pink point is going to be right there at negative 5, 1. Now we have enough to draw our line. It's a little bit tough for me to draw a line on here just to get it to be perfectly straight. And it's not quite. Let me try it one more time. And there we go. It's close enough. Okay. So we have our line because we have 2 points. We could keep drawing more points and things like that, but if we had another point to this, then it would have to fall on the line somewhere. Like, for example, it would have to be somewhere like this. If we had a point down here, something like this, then this would not be on the line, right? So that's how you do it. You only need 2 points to draw a straight line. 1 point doesn't work. You must have 2 or more. You could have more to draw a straight line as well. All right, last thing that I want to show you is there on the bottom of page number 290. It's graphing by table. Graphing by table. So here's what I did. I just let me get rid of this for just a second. This will be easier for you to see if I get rid of this. Okay, so here's our equation right here. and we want to graph this line. We want to put this line over here. And you say, how do you know it's a line? Well, this is because this is what we called up here. This is a linear equation. You're going to learn a little bit later why it's linear, but you're just going to have to take my word for it right now. It is linear. Okay, so we will be able to get a line out of this thing. How do we do it? Well, one of the easiest ways to do it, I say one of the easiest ways, one of the ways, it might not be the easiest way, but one of the ways is to draw what we call an X and a Y chart. So we're going to have an X and a Y chart. Okay? And so this thing's going to, and I'm just drawing it over there. I don't really know why I'm drawing it on that side. I just did. Okay? I could have drawn it wherever, but I just drew it on that side. You can draw it wherever you want. But here's what we're going to do. We are randomly going to come up with numbers on this X line, and we're going to plug that number into the X value for this. When we do that and we solve this equation, it's going to yield, it's going to give us a Y equals something. You'll see what I mean in just a second. So what we do first is we just randomly pick a number for X. Just make it up out of your brain from who knows where, right? So let's call this X equals 1. Why? I don't know. I like the number 1. Okay. Now you don't want to pick like 732. Why not? Because then you have to count 732 over on your Cartesian plane. Good luck. All right. Have fun with that. I want to count 1 over. I don't want to count 700 over. Okay. So 1. Use little numbers. Trust me. So notice this is on the X side. And so we're going to plug 1 in for our X. So we're going to get Y equals 2 times 1 plus 3. Just do the math. Y equals 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3. Y equals 5. Okay? So when X equals 1, guess what Y equals? Y equals 5. Okay? So we're going to do the same process, except for we're going to change the number that we put in. So let's do 0. All right. So now 2 times 0. What do you get when you multiply 2 times 0? 0 plus 3, and 0 plus 3 is 3. So when Y equals 0, when X equals 0, Y equals 3. Now watch this. We can also do negative numbers. I want to show you one with a negative number for how this works out. So let's say -1. Let's use a -1 now. So we're just going to plug in here -1, solve it out like we've been doing. 2 times -1 equals -2 plus 3. What is -2 plus 3? Well, that equals 1, positive 1. So in this case, Y equals 1. And you say, well, Mr. Steve, why did you do 3 of these? I thought we only needed 2 points. We really only need 2 points. I just wanted to do a -1 just to kind of show you that you could do one. But I always like to do 3 points. Why do I like to do 3 points? To kind of check it, right? To make sure that I did it correctly. So let's go back over here. Let's put this back up, and let's try to graph this now. Okay, so I did our XY chart over here, and I did it so that we could see it while we're graphing. All right, so you can do it anywhere you want. It doesn't have to be right next to your graph, but I did it so that we'd be able to see it as we're graphing. So let's go ahead and try it. Let's do this one first. So we're doing 1 on the X. So 1 over on the X. We're going 5 up on the Y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so there's our first point right there, 1, 5. Okay. Now let's come over to the next one, and we're going to do 0, 3, 0, 3. So when you have a 0, that means that you don't go left or right. So you're not moving on this line. You're just staying at 0. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and this one's going to be right here on the Y line. Then we're going to go -1, positive 1. So -1, positive 1. Over 1 to the left and up 1. Look what we have forming right here, right? We have our line forming right here. It's a little bit hard to draw. There we go. All right, so there's our line on that one. Our line came from our chart. Where did our chart come from? Our chart came from this equation. We just plugged into this equation. Where did our first number come from? Where did the x number come from every time? Out of our mind. We just dreamt it up. Okay, we made something up. Plugged it in. It gave us a y number. Then we put it onto the chart. Okay, so that's how you would graph. If they give you an equation, you just make up an x number and it gives you a y number. Make up a new x number. It will give you another y number, and you just keep doing that until you have at least 2 points. Remember, I like to do 3. That helps me know that I'm correct, because if I get like 3 in weird places, I'm like, what's going on here? And then you can go back and you can fix it. So 3 is kind of your check. 2 is sufficient. 3 is better. All right. Well, that's all I have for you. Make sure you get in there. You practice this stuff. Try to graph. Try to locate your points. Try to move. Make sure you're remembering right is positive, left is negative, up is positive, down is negative. Very important. 0, 0 is at origin, right in the middle where the x and the y axes come together. All right. That's all I got for you. Have a good one. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.